Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're heading back in time to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're going to unpack a really pivotal and, honestly, for way too long, overlooked piece of American history. Our mission, if you will, is to explore the incredible rise of Black Wall Street in the Greenwood district, but also the devastating events of the Tulsa Race Massacre and, what legacy that leaves behind. We're pulling all this from our source materials, the Tulsa Race Massacre and Black Wall Street's legacy. It's really a story of amazing achievement, but also profound injustice. Understanding it, I think, has crucial lessons for us all. So let's dive in.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating right off the bat is how Greenwood even came to be. Early 20th century, you've got these rigid segregation laws that are pushing black residents out of the white economic sphere. But they didn't just, survive. They actually thrived. They built this incredibly self-sufficient economy entirely on their own.
And that self-reliance, it really blossomed, didn't it? It's kind of astonishing when you think about the sheer number of businesses. Greenwood wasn't just, a couple of shops. It was a real hub. We're talking black-owned banks, hotels, cafes, movie theaters, even law offices, newspapers, the works. It was so vibrant. Apparently, Booker T. Washington called it the Negro Wall Street, which, of course, became Black Wall Street.
Right. And the crucial thing here, I think, is that prosperity wasn't just about money.
Exactly. It went deeper.
It absolutely did. It was cultural, it was communal, it meant quality education, access to professional services. And it fostered this incredibly strong sense of civic pride, It really stood out as a beacon of black self-determination, especially against the backdrop of Jim Crow oppression, that whole system of segregation and discrimination.
Right.
It was, in a way, a blueprint for economic freedom.
It sounds like such a powerful community, built really on its own terms. But, history often shows us that kind of progress can, unfortunately, trigger a really destructive reaction. How did things start to go wrong?
Well, it began with a specific incident, a spark, really. May 30th, 1921. It involved a young black shoe shiner, Dick Rowland, he was 19, and a white elevator operator, Sarah Page, 17. Now, accounts do vary, but historians pretty much agree the initial incident itself was likely minor, but Rowland was arrested. And then the Tulsa Tribune newspaper ran these sensationalist, really inflammatory headlines, and that just ignited white fears and anger. It poured fuel on the fire.
So the media played a big role in escalating things.
A huge role. Then, as rumors of a potential lynching started spreading, a group of black men, some were World War I vets, actually, they went down to the courthouse. Understandably, they wanted to protect Rowland.
Makes sense.
But they were met by a much larger and armed group of white men. Things got tense. A shot was fired. We don't know who fired first.
Then it's just chaos.
Instant chaos. And that chaos quickly spiraled into just unimaginable horror over the next 24 hours or so. White mobs, and this is key, some were actually deputized and armed by city officials. They just descended on Greenwood.
Deputized?
Yeah, they looted homes, businesses, they set buildings on fire, they were shooting residents, basically indiscriminately. And the accounts are just chillin'. Eyewitnesses reported seeing low-flying planes dropping incendiary devices, firebombs, essentially.
Planes dropping firebombs on American soil.
Yes, making it one of the first, if not the first, aerial assaults like that within the U.S.
It's almost impossible to really wrap your head around that level of destruction in just 24 hours.
It's staggering. By the time martial law was finally imposed, over 35 square blocks of Greenwood were just gone, destroyed.
35 blocks.
Yeah, and the death toll. Well, the exact number is tragically still unknown, but estimates range up to 300 people killed, mostly black residents. Plus, over 10,000 black residents left homeless. Over 1,400 homes and businesses just burned to the ground.
And the immediate aftermath sounds just as bleak.
It was devastating. Survivors were rounded up, held in internment camps. They could only be released if a white employer vouched for them.
Unbelievable.
Insurance companies. They refused to pay out on claims, citing riot clauses in the policies.
The riot label again.
Exactly. And maybe most crucially, no one, not a single person was ever held accountable for the violence. Ever. And then for decades, there was just silence. This horrific event was basically erased, omitted from textbooks, from public memory, like it never happened.
So that term riot wasn't just inaccurate. It had real financial consequences, denying victims compensation.
Precisely. It minimized the organized nature of the mob violence. Yet somehow, incredibly, the survivors started rebuilding Greenwood. With almost no outside help, certainly no government help.
The resilience is astounding.
It is. The trauma obviously remained, but their spirit somehow endured.
Has there been any kind of reckoning since then?
Thankfully, yes, though it took a very long time. A major turning point was in 1996. The Oklahoma state government finally formed a commission to investigate the massacre. Their report came out in 2001, and it confirmed officially that the city had failed to protect its black citizens. It even confirmed that city officials had actively armed some of the attackers.
Wow. Official confirmation.
Yes. And more recently, there have been real efforts to honor the victims and educate the public. You've got the Greenwood Rising History Center now, the John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park, and there are ongoing investigations searching for mass graves. It's part of finally facing this history.
So Black Wall Street, it wasn't just a prosperous neighborhood, was it? It really stood as a symbol.
A powerful symbol of Black excellence, of resilience, of what was possible.
And its destruction feels like it was more than just attacking a place. It was like an attack on the very idea of Black prosperity in America, wasn't it? A blow against that blueprint for liberation you mentioned.
I think that's exactly right. It was strategic. Yet, as we said, the spirit of Greenwood does endure. It's a potent reminder of both the absolute horror of racial violence, but also the incredible strength of a community that simply refused and refuses to be erased.
Yeah. This deep dive into Tulsa's past really underscores that resilience, doesn't it? And the absolute importance of remembering these difficult truths, even when they've been buried. So, thinking about this for you, our listeners, what does the enduring spirit of Greenwood teach us today? What does it tell us about the power of community, about the long, hard pursuit of justice, and maybe about the work we still need to do in reckoning with history right here, right now?